They
which
have
makes no sense.
This is their first time doing mail-in
But
ballots
they
or
didn't do,
paper ballots
but
in
they didn't
general.
count the mail-in ballots in New York neither.
Paper ballots in general. They haven't done paper ballots in like 20 years.
The
So
the interesting thing to me about that is why were there no mail-in ballots in the epicenter of the entire pandemic? New York City was the epicenter of the pandemic. And you mean to tell me there were no mail-in ballots or there wasn't excessive mail-in ballots? Where was the COVID fear during election day? It just went away. For all of that, let's open schools. If everybody can go to the polls. But everybody went to the polls allegedly. But then now in Pennsylvania, nobody wanted to go to the polls. Everybody wanted to do mail-in ballots. Just sounds a little fishy and shaky to me. That's all I'm saying.
There's another one like on the part with Michigan. You
Mhm.
know, Michigan. I went to bed like around 3:30 in the morning.
we was up for a minute.
I went to bed like at
Facts.
3:30 in the morning, and Trump's number was like, I think it was like a 2 million something, 2 million something, or 3 million something in Michigan. I woke up at 6:30 because like it was like a loud bang outside, so it woke me up. I woke up at 6:30. I'm like, all right. So I looked at my phone, looked at the polls, and I noticed Trump's number stood the same for 3 hours, but Biden shot up almost 130,000.
139,000.
Well, 139,000, right? He shot up 139,000. So you mean to tell me you found a bunch of ballots, right? You found a bunch of ballots that were only to Biden, which doesn't make any sense. There's no possible way that Trump's number stays the exact same, but Biden shoots up 139,000 in Michigan, which makes no sense.
I think the whole thing is sketchy. I think they need to reevaluate the entire process of even counting ballots. The mere fact that we have a federal election and we have states determining how ballots are counted is wrong. I think it should be one law for how everybody counts ballots.
Yeah.
They have to be in at a certain time on a certain day. After that is clipped. If you want it there by a certain day, you have to mail it by this time. You mail it after that, it's over.
It should be
That's
there
it.
that day.
I think the election should have been over on election day.
Straight up, the mail-in ballots. They're over here waiting for more ballots to come in. If you didn't mail the ballots in by a certain time, because they gave you an actual date by when you should send in the mail-in ballots. If it didn't arrive, that is not anybody else's fault but your own for being late. That's it.
Well, that's why they
So
doing it.
which is
postmarked,
not
though.
right. Which is not right for anything, because November 3rd is tradition. That election should be casted on November 3rd. Tradition on election day. It's tradition. Biden had stated before, it wasn't Biden. I think it was Pelosi that said it, and then Biden actually endorsed it during the debate, that if ballots don't come in, if the election happens to be the same exact way with Trump and Hillary, then we have to wait till November 10th for the rest of the ballots. Who are you to say that? You don't make the rules. You get what I'm saying? You're not above the law.
I don't know.
So can I ask this? Are you upset about it because it's not in Trump's favor? Or
No,
just in
not at all.
general?
It's not a fair election.
But just in general.
In general, it's not a fair election in general.
So if it was the other way around,
it wouldn't be a fair election.
But would you complain?
Yeah, I mean, listen. I don't
think so.
I'm saying right now. I said right now that how Trump's acting is actually pretty childish on it at the same time. But he is stating a fact that the election is not being fair.
No, I get that. But I'm saying if it was just reversed, would you still complain about it not being fair? You would accept it because it's in your favor.
Nah.